What is up, everybody? DanDanTheFireman here. There is a sale going on for Black Friday for the Cardo Pack Talk Edge and pretty much a lot of the stuff on the store for up to 25% off. This is only happening between November 28th and December 5th. I wanted to share that with you guys so you can grab one. It's usually only 10% off with the link in the description, but it's up to 25% off. We're going to jump into this. We're going to talk about crashes and close calls, utilizing the plan method so we can prevent a lot of these things for ourselves. This happens. It doesn't happen a lot when you're out riding, but these are kind of like the extreme examples so that if there ever is an emergency or close call, you kind of know at least what to do versus trying to make it up when it happens. So that's why we're going over this. Subscribe if you feel like educational motorcycle road strategy stuff. That's what we do here.
Behavior on the part of drivers.
All right, let's see what happens here. Anybody gonna back or run into us? Oh, there it is. Good job. Handled it. Space cushion will help with that.
Hey.
Don't know why he was backing up, but he was. So good job Flintstoning it. All right. Oh, break. Good job at the very last second hitting that swerve. Very good. We stalled, that's fine. He knows how to handle it. We're gonna get going, moving on. Is this like Nevada? It looks like Vegas almost. All right, we're going through here. Oh. You heard the scraping? Yeah, so the scraping was happening before the actual collision. So the bike was leaned over, scraping that peg. It probably messed up the rear tire, like traction, and that's why he spun out. Not good. So take these turns nice and easy, more upright. Use body positioning, counterbalancing on that until you go straight, and then you can accelerate and you're good.
Good.
Everything's good. It wasn't bad. We picked up the bike. Bike works. Moving on. Floorboard's a little scraped up. Not too bad. Maybe the saddlebag has a little bit of damage, but it gives it character. All right, we're coming up to here. Oh, wet paint. Wet paint. Not good. That will do it. You'll lose traction on wet paint. It looks like there's like a vehicle up ahead with lights. So maybe they're quite literally painting it right now. So don't touch the paint. So there's yellow paint on his tire already. So that means this road is being redone right now. So just stay away from the paint. And there it is. Yeah, the paint. Okay, so you guys notice like he's sliding on his butt. So he's sliding on his butt right there. So right there, I'm getting a thumbnail. There we go. But that right there is why on motorcycle pants, there's abrasion resistance on the buttocks. Because if he didn't, I mean, it looks like those are motorcycle pants. It took off the top layer, but that's the abrasion resistance stuff right there. That would have been your flesh. That would have been your butt flesh. So wear proper gear because just that simple slide, that will rip up everything. So wear gear. Part of smart riders, acquiring using personal protective equipment. Not good. Yeah, a little bit hidden brown. Oh, geez, this is high risk. And that's what could happen.
Not keeping a safe distance and riding too confidently cause that these bikers learn how important prudence is when riding in a group.
Yeah, not keeping a space cushion. Smashing the brakes. Guys, we're racing on the road with other traffic. It's just high danger. It's like there's a death wish going on here.
This dude's gonna run me over.
Uh-oh.
I'm about to brake check him.
Brake checking other, especially trucks, is not a good idea. Oh, you just pissed him off.
Pull over. Go ahead.
I would just get out of there at that point. Just go. All right, side by side with the car. What do we got up ahead? Okay, somebody merging into our lane. Let them in.
Whoa.
Just let them in.
You know what I mean? Just
be a cooperative driver.
Right?
Just be a cooperative rider, driver. they indicated. I'm just gonna let you in, not a big deal. Doesn't bother me. I'll increase my space cushion like we're doing here.
Riding
Moving
in such
on.
conditions requires
Nighttime,
little
oof.
caution, which was lacking
You
in this
can't see if
situation.
there's water,
Fortunately, this
oil,
biker
road
had
surface
a lot of
hazards.
people around who helped him.
And there's the drop, and then our hands. This is why wearing gear is important. Because you never know. You never know when you're gonna drop the bike. So acquiring and using personal protective equipment, super important. Protect your hands. If you work with your hands, which I think everyone does. Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, so I mean that it looks like it's just dirty, but some of that stuff's probably like inside of his palm. So he has a helmet, so he's protecting his skull and brain at least, or at least mitigating any injuries.
Não, tô tranquilo, não. Tá legal? Tô, só o pé que tá doendo pouco.
Oh no. Going a little fast. We have a corner coming up. Anybody gonna go off the road? Nope. Okay, good. That was an easy corner. We're coming up here. We have a vehicle. Are we gonna pass right before a corner? I don't think the truck did that maliciously. Okay, it says 60 kilometers an hour, and we're going 174. Going a little fast for traffic. A lot of risk. Sharp left turn coming up ahead. What's going to happen here? Oh, guy went a little off because he was going a little too fast. So too fast, pushed us off the edge. Couldn't even navigate a regular corner when we should have been doing 60 kilometers an hour or whatever it was. Make it through. Now look at everyone's passing us. So you saving that much time caused damage to your bike, and everyone's still going to beat you where you need to go. Those are nice gauntlet gloves, though. That's pretty good. So what can we do? We can hopefully rescue our buddy. Doesn't look like he has any major bleeds. He's got full gear. So one of the issues in firefighting was that the gear was getting to a point where it's so good that it made a lot of firefighters feel almost invincible when they put the gear on. So then they take more risks inside of a fire versus understanding that the good gear is to protect you while you still maintain the same amount of risks. So like more risks would be like pushing ourselves past like the bottle limit. So like if it starts, ticking off at the last 5% last fifth of a bottle, we're like, we can still handle this because I feel good. Like the heat doesn't bother me. And then they run out of air. And so like bigger risks because of gear. I tend to see a lot of that when it comes to motorcycle riding, when we have like this full leather tracksuit, great gear. And then we're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and push it now because I have this safety gear so that if something does happen, I will be protected. And yes and no, because yeah, it's going to mitigate a lot of damage like road rash. It's very good thermal protection from the friction with leathers and everything. You have a lot of armor, you have a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're going 100 miles an hour into a pole, that gear is not going to protect you. You're still going to wrap yourself around the pole. You're going to break your spine. You're going to do all those things. But the mentality of, I have this really good gear, so I'm invincible, will make it to where you accept more risks. Just treat it like I have really good gear, so even at the risks that I'm currently taking at the speed limit, riding, cooperatively, doing the plan method, all that stuff, now my risk level is even lower than it was when I just had like no gear or cheap gear. It's like it's just lower because of my protection. So you're constantly trying to lower your risk. Don't increase your risk because you have better gear, better whatever. It's like your skill and your gear, lower your risk. Don't add more. Right? So it's just, I see that a lot. Like if you do track days and you're getting better skills, you go and do the smart rider drills, and so you're getting better. You have really good gear. You put some really good mods on your bike that is more safety oriented. You have rider assist, so traction control, you have like ABS, you have like all these really nice safety features. It does not mean now I can act like a hooligan. It means no, you can just be safer. That's it. It's hard. It's a mental psychological thing that happens, and you have to be aware of it. And that's what I'm trying to do here is just point out what's happening. Watch out for anybody merging over. Okay. What's going to happen here? Okay. Okay. Ooh, yeah, escape out of there. Accelerate out of that. Very good. That person was trying to switch out. Very good. Handled it. So it's a green light. We're going to start going. Anybody can turn in front of us? They shouldn't because they have an arrow. Nope. Okay, we're out of the intersection. What do we have here? We have headlights in our lane. Oh, there it is. Somebody turning left. Good job rolling off throttle, applying the brakes. Okay, we're going up and over a crest and a little speed. Oh. Good job swerving, but we almost didn't make it. So I know Motostar is about to talk. So we're coming up to here. They probably can't see us. Not a big deal, right? We can't assume. So we get up to here. We start to rev bomb. So we perceived that this vehicle is going to start coming out. We reacted with a rev bomb, so pulling in the clutch, giving it throttle. What that does is it takes power from the rear wheel by pulling the clutch. So now we can't accelerate or even engine brake now because the clutch is in. We're basically coasting in neutral. And then we have the throttle open. So if we dump the clutch, all the power immediately goes to the front or the back wheel, and then it's going to cause us to go crazy. So we just removed primary controls. We removed our ability to accelerate or decelerate out of the way, and all we can really do is swerve. So we just removed really important tools in our toolbox to get ourselves out of a dangerous situation because that's the reaction that we're having. So another reaction that we can do is utilize our tools, and instead of rev bombing, instead of pulling in the clutch to do the rev bomb, we can roll off the throttle to do engine braking or apply a little bit of progressive braking. That way we slow down and that person can come out. Because if we did a little bit of that, by the time we get to here, we wouldn't have had to swerve so hard because we wouldn't have made it here because we're slowed down, right? Good job, though, finding the escape and swerving. But the thing is, once we do that, we have to swerve. Don't rev bomb. We're once again removing a primary control. Once we do this and we swerve out of the way, we're headed straight this way. So we need to swerve back into our lane. So our focus is rev bombing. Our focus is getting attention, doing all those things, when our focus should be putting ourselves back into a position of safety, which is back into our lane. So it's really a prioritizing of where our focus is, a prioritizing of what our actions are, prioritizing what our frame of mind is. We're prioritizing all these things. And if we say yes to a new position of safety, it means we have to say no to rev bombing. It's not necessarily an either or, but when you say yes to positioning for safety, it means you have to swerve. You have to have control of your bike. You have to have that primary control of throttle, being able to shift, downshift, whatever it is. You need to have all those tools so that you can say yes to positioning for safety. So that means you have to say no to rev bombing and pulling or taking away your primary control. So there's this exchange of when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something. When you say no to something, you're saying yes to something. If you say no to, I'm not going to have road rage, you're saying yes to being a cooperative driver. If you're saying yes to being a cooperative driver, that means you are telling yourself, no, I will not be a road rage driver. You can't really just be both. You can make mistakes either way, but then adjust your frame. Like, who do I want to be? Do I want to be a road rage driver or a cooperative driver? And that applies to anything and everything you do in life. Relationships, your own disciplines and values. If you say yes to something, you are saying no to something. You're prioritizing your focus on what you want to do. And what I do here at the MTC Rider Academy is I give you guys donuts, but I am saying no to road rage. I am saying no to speeding. I am saying no to all these dangerous and risky behaviors so I can say yes to getting home safely. So I can say yes to being a cooperative driver. So I can say yes to not being angry when I'm riding my motorcycle. That's what I'm doing. So if you guys want to join me, Just hit subscribe button.
It was exactly this situation that made the rider want to
I say yes to tacos and no to losing weight.
Conversation ensued with
That's
understanding from both sides.
that's there it is right there. There's that. Target acquired. Okay, here we go. That's a good one, Missy. It's so true too. Okay.
Hello.
I'm sorry that but when I heard that, I saw a car coming up.
You have to listen. I know you don't normally, most people don't. And that is an extra bad spot. But I almost went off-road. Actually, I did go off-road to avoid you. Please be careful.
Okay. Yeah.
I have
You know?
no protection on this
Yeah,
whatsoever.
give yourself a new position. This is a decent exchange.
So
I'm glad he's not
I'm
road
trying
like
not-
road
I'm
raging,
pretty
right?
aggravated, but I'm trying not to be. So please be careful.
So like kind of what I was explaining on a lot of that stuff, if you read Jocko Extreme Ownership, it's like no matter what you're in, like in this situation, like take extreme ownership of the situation. Yes, the situation is she pulled out, but we made a choice to swerve and we need to make a choice to get back on. So your accountability and your ownership in this situation is your ability to swerve and what you're going to be doing. So rev bombing, all that other stuff. Her ownership should be that she didn't do that. But at the end of the day, you can't control if somebody's going to take accountability. You have to take accountability for what you did and then forget the rest and just realize it's a learning lesson. It's a situational based thing. It's nighttime riding. Okay. Oh, somebody pulled out. Good. Fine. Going a little fast, right? It looks like we are. It's kind of tucked in. We have a curve coming up. Anybody going to be pulling out? Because it looks like it's a pretty easy curve. Somebody's passing. Yep. Good job. New position for safety. So once again, like with that whole extreme ownership thing is like, what is it that we're accountable for here? And we're accountable for using the plan method. This is the biggest one, positioning yourself for safety. That's what we're accountable for. We have to do all these things to get ourselves into a position for safety. We're not accountable for this person being in our lane facing us. That's just the situation. What can we do? That's what we can only do what we can do. And so we're in this position. We see this car coming out. We're going to put ourselves in a new position for safety. Right now we're in one. We located this hazard. Is it a relevant threat? Yes, it's in our lane facing us. How do we navigate this? Put ourselves in a new position for safety. What is a new position for safety in this situation? Well, do exactly what he did. You're going to swerve and you're going to ride close to this line to give that car the whole lane, because at the end of the day, you're going to lose if you collide. That's what's going to happen. So we have to put ourselves in this new position. They did what they did. They did what they did. Not much we can do. We have to get ourselves out of there. And I really want people to get in that mindset of instead of just blaming other cars. So good job with that emergency swerve, new position. They shouldn't have been there, whatever. I'm accountable for my safety. Only I can provide it for myself. He's obviously not providing me safety by doing that. We have to do it. Moving off. And then I take this as a win of like, hey, I was paying attention. I was not white staged. I was not zoned out. I was in yellow staged. I was zoned in. I was looking for hazardous situations. I assessed if it was a relevant threat. I navigated out of it. I accomplished my goal of putting myself in a brand new position for safety. This is a huge win. I trust myself in these skill sets. It reminds me I need to be paying attention. It reminds me that if I pay attention, I can get myself out of things. And guess where your confidence starts coming from? Your skill set, your ability to have these small achievements over and over and over and over again, to where you feel like you're a good rider and you have this confidence that you can get yourself out of bad situations. Don't put yourself in super duper extreme challenges of speeding and whatnot. But that's why I like doing the smart rider drills, is because you start to understand your bike. You start to understand what you can do, and you handle that. So we're out on a track having fun, practicing. Okay, what's gonna happen here? So we're passing all the people on the on the right. They're probably slower. That's fine. We're doing our thing. Out on a nice little track. Looks like it's a little wet. Oh, so we lost rear traction. It gained, and we did a high side, and his head fell off. So that's not good. It's a very high impact. But once again, what's the learning lesson here? Let's take a look and do an after action. If I was the rider, I'd be like, are my tires warmed up? Did I hit an oil slick? Like, did I slam the brakes? Like, what was the problem? And then you learn from that and you move on. And since it's in a controlled environment, we can walk away from it. Maybe no injuries because we have full gear. Cool. Learn. Do better next time. That's it. I'd rather see a crash on a track than out on the road. Oh, a nice little road surface hazard. Got a little scared. Applied the brakes. He's got a passenger. Thankfully, nobody's hurt. Once again, you can practice your slow speed skills in a parking lot. But what was the mistake here? Maybe you got a little scared by this bump. Go over it perpendicular as best you can. Don't try to go over it and try to do this whole thing. Just go over it and then turn. Yeah. Glad they're laughing about it. He's got crash guards. So the bike's going to be protected. Very nice. She's doing fine. Very good. But once again, guys, we do have that sale going on for the Cardo, Pack Talk, basically anything in the store. I think the Pro might not be on discount, but up to 25% off until December 5th. So check it out. Link in the description. Grab one. Do the Duo so you can go split halvesies with your buddy and get up to 25% off, guys. With that said, hope you guys ride safe, be safe, and hopefully you take some of that stuff to heart. Everything's a learning lesson as long as we can walk away from it, right? I'll see you guys later.